leaning into your strengths as an artist has been something that I've been conflicted around for a long time. And once I actually incorporated that and started using that in my creative process of making music, it's kind of changed completely how I make music, and it's improved my music so much more. And I think why that uh, why that is an issue for a lot of artists is kind of when you start making music, there's an endless amount of stuff that you can focus your attention on. And I think you need to understand most of the stuff to some extent, because you need to know the tools that are at your disposal. So there's programming, sound design, mixing, things like that. You do need to understand roughly how to do them. And at some point, the focus should be on leaning further into your strengths rather than kind of focusing endlessly on the things that are your weaknesses. So why that is conflicting at times is because to an extent, focusing on your weaknesses can fill in gaps. So for example, if you make incredible music, but your mix downs are terrible, focusing on the mix downs might benefit your music the most. But at some point, once you reach, let's say, like each one of the skills like sound design, mix down, sort of using synths and texturizing, if each one of those skills could be rated on like a 0 to 10 scale, you basically want to reach like a solid 6 or 7 in most of them, because that's the foundation that allows you to make good music. But after that point, I think it's just really important to lean into the things that you're really good at, because that is what allows your music to stand out. Because it's not the goal as an artist, as a kind of music producer, is not to make the best average piece of music. So it's not that it has to be just okay mix down, just okay idea, just okay composition, just okay arrangement, because you just get with a kind of average track, which, you know, what's the point in that? I think at a certain level, you basically want to have a good grasp of the basics and lean even further into your strengths. So, for example, for me, it was basically understanding that I have absolutely no concept of music theory. It just doesn't work for me. I hate it. I don't like working with hardware, which I've spent so long trying to understand how hardware works and got hardware drum machines and synths. And every time I would lean into hardware, it just wasn't working for me. Similar even with synthesizers. Even though techno music is based on synthesizers hugely, I've made some incredible music that I'm really happy with synthesizers, but they never felt fun. They never felt like my natural way of expression. So what I've done was basically shift and find ways of what are the things that I really like, what brings me the most fun, what am I excited to do when I'm sitting down to make music, and lean into those further. And this basically allowed me to make exceptional music. It kind of allowed me to create music that is remarkable in at least one aspect. And I think that also allows people who are attracted to that side of music, to that style, to be attracted to that even more. So for me, it's ended up being kind of a powerful low end, abstract textures and kind of complex eclectic rhythms. These are the things that I like in music, and I ended up incorporating in mine. And I don't like synthesizers, so I don't really work with those that much. I love resampling and taking sounds that are not musical at all and just creating something completely new out of that, and then almost creating my mini sample pack for each track and then using that within each one. So I find that really fun. So I've leaned into that further and further, and I'm expanding on that one technique that feels very natural to me. And then as a result, I've found ways to work with the music, with the sounds, in a way that no one else really works like that, not at least any people that I know, because I've just kept following the thing that is my strength. And then as a result, kind of I made music that may not be great in all the other aspects, but it has something in it, which is the kind of the essence, the soul, the idea, the sound design, the textures are the strong aspects of the music, which is what I like, which is what I have fun making. And then the people who also like that kind of music, that music appeals to them even more, rather than what I did before, which was kind of, I hated synthesizers. I didn't really like working with them. I would just continuously force myself to work with synthesizers, and I wasn't having fun. The music wasn't flowing as smoothly as it could, and yeah, it just felt kind of silly. I would just continuously try to lean into my weakness and try to focus on it, whereas I should have just focused on my strengths, and then that's when I did it. So the music just got so much better. And I guess another approach for your weaknesses is maybe, rather than avoiding them and ignoring them, it's basically trying to find a way to maybe bypass that weakness. So for example, I used to struggle with arranging my tracks a lot. Basically, I got to the loop, I started arranging, and in the arrangement step, the whole track just crumbled. It just stopped working. So what I did, I got a launch pad. So it's an Akai APC 40 Mark II. So it's basically just a launch pad with buttons. And as I press buttons, different sounds in Ableton start playing, which basically what I can do, I can start recording the clip in Ableton, the whole project. And as I press a button, the sound starts playing. And as I press it, the sound stops playing. And I can assign it to different filters and different things in the within the project as well. So I can basically play the track's arrangement using buttons and knobs and basically play it live like an instrument. So that's taken away so much of the frustration and the dread of arrangement, because I no longer had to kind of look at the loop, kind of blocks in the arrangement view and try to kind of make a piece of music out of it. I was able to just have the loops and I was just pressing buttons, and then it's much easier to know when to introduce a sound if you just have to press a button and it starts playing. It kind of becomes like an alternative version of DJing, rather than DJing with tracks. You DJ with each individual sound, where you just, it just feels right when a hi-hat comes in. You just know, when you take away the kick and the filter something, and then when the kick comes back, it feels very intuitive being able to press. So this was my way of turning a weakness of mine, which was arrangement, and finding a way to make it much, much easier and actually fun. And similarly, kind of with synthesizers, I don't like synthesizers, but I found another way to make interesting sounds, lead sounds, musical sounds, by resampling. So I take a sound that already exists. Sometimes it's a very, very simple synthesizer patch. Sometimes it's a stab sample. Sometimes it's a sample from a jazz track that I heard at the weekend. So I just put it in, resample that, create my own sample pack. So basically, making music should be fun, and it's not easy in the long run. There's lots to learn, but it shouldn't be hard at this stage when you sit down to make music. Just tune in. Something I would do, which helped me, was basically, as I'm making music, I'm trying to tune in to what I'm having the most fun doing, and then what I'm kind of dreading, So for me, it was arrangement. I was dreading that step. So I basically just thought, okay, how can I arrange without arrangement? Got the launchpad. So have a think about that, maybe, whether it's, what is your strength in music making? What makes you uniquely you? What you have the most fun with? What do you like about music the most? Lean into those aspects more. And then things that are maybe frustrations or weaknesses or struggles, find a way whether you can ease that frustration to make that process smoother, and just keep focusing on your strengths. Yeah. And I think that's it for this one. So once again, thanks for watching, and there will be another one.